guess we're going live. It says we're here. I know you're going to tell me that you don't see us yet, and I'm going to say there's a delay.
There you go. And I didn't have to say a word.
You didn't have to say a word. It's a service I provide. Yeah. I don't really know from here until my existence is validated by others, but we will move forward anyway. Hello.
Hi.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Living BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. It's our weekly live stream where we record our podcast, the audio version of which hits all major podcast apps every Friday. We are here 6 minutes early. If you're here for the live stream and you don't like idle chit chat, fast forward by about 6 minutes. If you are here after the time, no, that's not what I meant to say. After the live stream, but before I put in timestamps. And you don't like idle chit chat, fast forward by 6 minutes. I almost said if you don't like the time stream. You know, I don't like the time stream that we're in.
No.
But I knew that's not actually what I meant to say. Caught myself.
There you go.
Hi, Kitty. Hi, Dorina. Hi, Lady Blooding. Hi, Claire. Yeah, I know it's not time for you yet.
No.
We're here. What you got for the butt rub?
Nothing, but I'm going to need to leave you alone for a second.
Oh, I hate it when you do that.
Yeah.
Ugh. Hi, Rara. Hi, Mr. Spock. I got nothing to say, and he walked away. Hi, Bad Cat. Oh, he did not like how I did that, I bet. He was fiddling with the blinds over the window that is between the kitchen and the office, because this used to be the exterior of the building, and the window is still there. So, was it bothering you? Mm-hmm. Well, look, I got it down. I've never done it before. So it was imperfect.
Some things you just need to leave to the pros.
You were doing other things. Hi, Bunny. Hi, Wendy. Goodness. So what you got for the butt rub?
Florida winter, Florida cold.
I know it's delightful.
Yep.
I am, for purposes of work, ready for, I guess it's around Monday, we're supposed to get like actual just cool temperatures that are perfect for this time of year.
Kind of like our normal temperature.
Right, yeah. Where we would be normally.
Mm-hmm.
Because working with resin in this cold is really difficult.
Yeah, it is.
And we set the goal of every resin order that came in during our Black Friday sale, which technically ends today, day of live stream, we would have done by the 18th. So, yeah. Well, yes, it's also very cozy. If I was in a t-shirt, I'd be comfortable, but I'd probably have to put on my fuzzy socks. If this part of me is covered, then I don't need socks on my feet. Also, this is how, spoiler, this is how I'm sitting here doing the live stream with no bra on and not feeling any way about it. Like, nope, I'm as comfortable as I know how to be. We are that type of old where we will buy our clothes from Sam's Club, and I found apparently the most comfortable pair of pants at Sam's Club I've ever put on in my life. They're Members Mark, that's Sam's Club, like, generic brand, and they're literally labeled soft pants. Oh, they meant that. Oh my God. I'm thinking of going online and seeing if I can get any more. I would, other than summertime when it's hot, I would wear these every day. They were so comfortable. Bad Cat, as of, if you're talking about for the kinkery, as of right this second, it is still happening. It lasts until 11:59 p.m. Eastern. For our Etsy shops, yeah, I think they're over now. I'd have to go check. I don't remember. I scheduled it a month ago. I don't remember those sales. But yeah, from our perspective, it's been very cold. We wake up and it's 30 degrees in the morning.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we woke up to 34 degrees this morning here.
It's delightful. What I like is, because we don't run our heat at night. I mean, if it got cold enough, we would, but that's not cold enough. So, we can get under the covers and be all snuggly and warm. But if I have a heat wave, I'm not going to call them hot flashes anymore. They've kind of calmed down. If I have a heat wave, I can stick a body part out from underneath the covers and get cool very quickly. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, this is the kind of temperatures where I flourish. I am just in a good mood. I am full of energy. I don't even complain when I do get cold. I mostly complain that I'm not prepared for how to keep myself warm. So therefore, I find myself cold when I don't want to be cold. And then I'm just annoyed at myself. Not the cold. Never the cold. Give me the cold. I don't want the snow. I don't want the snow. Never the snow. But always the cold. Hi, Silent. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're being healthy and drinking water, flavored water. I guess it's healthy. It's Diet Coke, diet sodas. I know there are people who have feelings about diet sodas. You get to have your feelings. I will keep drinking it until I literally cannot ingest liquid in my body anymore. Okay. Hi, X. So.
Her bloodstream is made up of Diet Coke.
I mean, yeah. But then there's parts that are also iced coffee, and there's parts that are, once again, sweet tea. I make my tea as sweet as Southern women intended, okay? Like, you might have to worry about the diabetes, okay, with my sweet tea. But because I know that's how I make it, I have to try to, like, limit myself and not drink too much of it, because we're not wasting calories on drink when we can use those calories for food, is all I'm saying. So yeah, I ate my lunch so that I would not come on the stream today and be hangry. And then my reward was my Diet Coke while we stream. I worry about the bubbles coming back to haunt me later, but whatever. Sun tea, I've made sun tea many times, Lady Blooding. It's not my favorite. Yeah. It's really not.
I used to make sun tea back in the day.
When I was younger, and when I was a kid, my parents would make it every so often. And then I think like in my early 20s, I was like, I'll just do sun tea. And it's just, I don't know, something about and I only use Louisiana tea. We now buy it in bulk from Sam's Club. Only use Louisiana. It is the best tea. I will not hear otherwise for iced tea. Hot tea, I don't have an opinion. So, and then I didn't like the flavor. Sun tea. Anyway, it's now 1:01. So we will officially get started.
Hello, everyone.
There you go. As you can tell from the title, we're going to talk about the holidays and Power Exchange and like sort of navigating them in different ways. One actual announcement that I want to make sure I get out, that only the live stream folks who are watching live and or anybody who watches this video on the day it goes out, Wednesday, December 4th. Today is the last day of the Kinkery's Black Friday sale, 25% off with code Spanx24. The sale ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, December 4th. So, if you've been wanting some new kink toys, that sale, you got a few hours. And if you're like, oh, I don't have the cash right now, but I will have the cash, we are now taking something called Afterpay, which is one of those buy now, pay later situations. So if that's your jam, we have that too. So yeah, link in the places. So if you enjoy this, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And then go ahead and ring that notification bell to get updates and new content.
Just do what Daddy says. My words are getting jumbled yet again because I think I was about to say, not instead of consider, I was going to say continue. This does not bode well for this week's episode. All that being said, you can hit the button. The magic button.
All right, 1 second.
Okay, you're going to write your numbers down, and then you're going to...
Ready?
Sure. Okay, so before we get into our topic, I thought I didn't have an announcement. Like, I'm typing up the outline for today, and I'm like, announcements. NA does not apply. And then I went, oh, yeah. So I've been influenced twice. First by Rara of the Pink King podcast, who multiple times was like, hey, do this thing. And I kept going, no. And then Hank Green, who can influence me to do almost anything. I've almost bought some socks and some soap, is all I'm saying. And that is, we're on Blue Sky. Both Loving BDSM and the Kinkery on Blue Sky. If you're on Blue Sky and you just search us up like that, we'll come right up. JB made a Blue Sky account,
Yeah.
John Brownstone, which made me go, oh, fuck, okay, I'll go get my name so that nobody else can get my name. And so also Kayla Lords. I don't have any plans to talk about anything at this point because I just don't even know how to do that anymore. But on Loving BDSM and the Kinkery, gonna post stuff. Try to anyway. So, yeah. And I just realized now I could have put the links in the places. For podcast listeners, by the time you hear this, I will have put the links in the places. For
you
YouTube folk, just give me a minute. So yeah, we're on Blue Sky. I haven't posted to Twitter for Loving BDSM in probably a couple of years. And I was posting to Twitter. No, I will never call it X. It's Twitter. Give me a break. I was posting to Twitter for the Kinkery from the time we opened the Kinkery. And for a while we were growing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Twitter started being worse than it had ever been.
Stupid.
I was consistently posting, but follower count was going down. But not because we sucked. I mean, maybe somebody thinks we do, but not for that. But because people were leaving the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I literally cannot grow here. And I don't want to pay for the possibility of being able to grow. Like, if I'm getting enough back from a platform, I don't mind paying for the services, but Twitter's never been that. So, for me anyway. So I was like, so the Kinkery is no longer posting to Twitter. It still exists. All of the accounts still exist because I'm going to keep our names so nobody can just take our names and pretend to be us.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think they would, but weird shit happens. But yeah, Rara said it multiple times in live streams. Hey, sign up. I was like, meh. And then Hank Green did like a deep dive on like stuff that's like content creator oriented. And I was like, okay, Hank Green, you influenced me yet again. So we're on Blue Sky. There we go. Okay. So this week's topic is one that I feel like should have been our pre-Thanksgiving episode, but it did not occur to me pre-Thanksgiving. Sorry. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving and you have this, next year you'll be celebrating Thanksgiving and hopefully in a power exchange relationship, some of this stuff will apply too. But so we're going to talk about dealing with the holidays while you're in a power exchange. And I think most of this is probably relatable regardless of the holiday you celebrate. If there's visiting family involved, changes to schedules, stress, and or gift giving involved, I think all of this applies, regardless. So there's that. And we will not touch on every possible thing that you might have to deal with. We're going with 3 big topics. So, if you think of other things, feel free to comment and talk to us in the places. But just know, we can't touch everything because we're not that good. So the 3 things we are going to talk about, just to give you like a high level overview: gift giving. Yes, your power exchange can impact gift giving. Spending time with family and friends, but the non-kinky part of your life. And then just stress during the holidays, getting stuff done, decorating the house, having like holiday work parties, whatever, like the stuff that throws everything out of whack, that kind of stuff. So we'll start with, first of all, let me stop because I've just blah, 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 like I do. High level before we get into the different ways of dealing with the holidays in a power exchange. Anything you would add high level, like holidays, power exchange?
Not off the top.
Okay.
Let's just.
Don't let anybody say I don't give him the opportunity to speak, y'all. I don't, but I do try to remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's start with gift giving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is going to hit every power exchange differently. The reason it comes to my mind is because in my first and only power exchange prior to meeting John Brownstone, my dom in that relationship had very clear boundaries around gift giving. He was like, and this wasn't just like, in our case, the Christmas, it was anything where a gift could have been given. It's like, I do not like surprises. I do not like to get something I did not personally pick out. Do not. I mean, I think we had gotten into like a conversation, or maybe I had asked, or maybe he just said it. I don't know. And I was like, oh, okay, good to know. In my head, I was like, I'm a broke single mom. You probably weren't getting nothing, but okay, at least we're clear. But it let me know when I met you to ask the question. So if you're submissive and this is like y'all's first holiday together, first gift giving situation together, and you don't know, it's worth asking. I asked JB literally years ago now, how are you about gifts? Can I surprise you with stuff? What would you prefer? And I think that's a good conversation to have, across the slash, either side of the slash. But as a submissive who wants to do what my dom wants me to do and be the best little, sassy baby girl I know how to be, I want to give him stuff the way he wants it. And if he was the type who's like, I got control issues, do not surprise me, that's an important thing to know. And there have been times, this is about surprises in general, I think. There have been times, not just gifts, where I've been like, I have this thing I would like to keep a surprise from you. Are you okay with me keeping a secret from you until I can surprise you with it? Or do you just want to know? And here's what's funny. Daddy Dom JB is usually very laid back, and he's like, no, I can wait. This will be fun. I like to be surprised. It also gives him the opportunity to tease me until I finally tell him. But sometimes, and it's really rare, he goes, no, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't want to wait. Just tell me. And he does it in like his sort of Dom voice. And I'm like, well, that was exciting. I don't get to surprise you, but this was a moment that we get to have. So that's why gift giving like comes to mind. What do you think about gift giving, holidays, power exchange?
Wonderful.
Stop. What about from your perspective, getting your submissive a gift? How do you think about that as power exchange, not just like
as power exchange?
Not just the man who loves me.
Ooh,
loaded.
Yes, it is. I don't know. I don't see for myself. I don't see a separation between, the power exchange and the regular part of life, because we're so enmeshed in our power exchange. It just is.
True.
So, I don't even really think of it in terms of one or the other.
Oh, okay. So just gift giving in power exchange. Where are you at? What advice, what things have you learned? Are there things that you've learned over all these years of...
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you please share that with... Anybody who says your dom can't be bratty has never met a bratty dom. And they will try your damn patience, and I think that's called payback. Okay, bratty daddy.
I've found with you the best way to go about gift giving is I just watch you and listen.
I love that. That getting gifts because I've happened to have mentioned something and my partner gives a fuck enough about me to pay attention and take notes, put reminders, like whatever like tricks you have to use for your memory. That's my fucking love language.
I refuse to be a Claire.
Oh God, from Modern Family. If you don't get the reference, Claire was awful at giving gifts.
I refuse to be Claire. But yeah, that's what I do. I just I'm connected to your wish list
on Amazon.
So I always have that to peruse.
Yeah, you get a notification whenever I add.
Anytime you add something, I get a notification like, ooh.
Well, here's what's funny. Last year, I realized we were going to exchange gifts, and then I went, he hasn't asked me, and I haven't thought about what I want. And then I went, wait, he pays attention to my Amazon wish list. And I went in and was like, boop, 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 here's the things. And then lo and behold, I got what I asked for. It was very nice. Gift out long term for us, and this is not universal, so other people will have different experiences, of course. But we're at a point, both stage in life and I think just stage of our relationship, we don't like gift giving is nice, but we're one, grown adults with our own money, and two, constantly communicating. So if one of us wants or needs something, if it's within our budget at any point in the year, we're just going to get it, you know. The past few years have been more about needs than wants.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, and I say this around Valentine's Day every year too, I don't see, for us, Christmas as a gift-giving holiday as like the end-all be-all, oh no, if I don't get the perfect gift, a gift, whatever, that says something about the state of our relationship, right? Because, you are reminding me of how cared for I am, how cherished I am, how loved I am, and you're trying to get me or help me get or allow me to get the things I want and need throughout the year. So it doesn't all rest on this one day, this one
that is very
perfect
true. That is very
gift.
true.
But also, I am that annoying pragmatic person who's like, I would not be mad if my Christmas gift was a vacuum, if it was the vacuum I wanted and it said, hey, this is the one time we like let ourselves spend money. You can get me that thing for the house that I've wanted. But it's because I know that every other day of the year, you're going to be taking care of me and trying to like make sure all my needs and wants are met within our power exchange and life. And, so it doesn't all rest on this one day for this one gift. So I tend to be very blasé about the gift giving. JB likes to be sneaky about it. And that, I think, again, not universal, but the inherent challenge in gift giving between a dom and a sub is that the dom has a lot of latitude and power to just kind of go do what they're going to do within boundaries, of course, because they're in charge and they make these decisions. But if you are a submissive in a power exchange where there's a lot of permission asking and getting the okay of, and hey, don't surprise me, or, don't surprise me in an unwanted way, or whatever, it can be more like am I doing this right kind of thing. Now, if you're in a power exchange and that's never been your issue and that's never come across your mind or been a topic of conversation, that's great. I'm very happy for you. But some of us are like, as a submissive, there's, in my mind, a quote, right way for our dynamic that I need to do this. We hammered it out real quick before our first ever gift giving anything, because I was asking those questions, because I had that experience prior to him. But yeah, it's hard to be like sneaky and to do, to surprise you, because I'm really bad at that. If there's a thing I'm doing for you or have done for you and can't wait to like see your reaction, I am that person who's like, I got something for you, but I can't tell you.
and the funny thing about it is, if I really pushed it, I know I could break you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, in part for me, it's because at the core, I just want to be a good girl. So if you were like, I know what you're trying to do, and I respect that you're trying to surprise me, but I'm your daddy dom, and I'm telling you, I want to know. You're gonna know. I'm gonna tell you, because I'll be like, okay. This isn't about, loving partner, making other partner happy. This is submissive doing what Dom just said to please do. I know that I could push back against that if I was like, no, it's really important to me to try to surprise you, or it's really important for me to, for you to open this on a special occasion or whatever. And I think you would, depending on your mood. If you were cranky and hangry and grumpy polar bear, maybe not. But under normal circumstances, I think you'd go, okay, that's fair. Just, it's about explaining my reasoning to you. It's about clear communication, y'all. Yeah. So the thing is like everything else that we bring with us into power exchange, our poor communication skills, our past relationship struggles, how you feel about gift giving is coming along with you, right? And so it's not necessarily that big of a deal, but I think it's worth a conversation, because just like everything else in your relationship, you want it to go in a way, ideally, that you're both comfortable with. And if one partner, and I'm speaking as a submissive here, so especially a dom who is the one leading and has this final say and, is the decider, and however y'all do that, that's how we do it. I don't want to do anything unintentionally that goes against that power dynamic, even if it is in the name of doing something nice for you or making you happy. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's something to like for people to like big stress out over, but I do think it's worth a conversation. If you've never done a gift giving moment before and this is your first one, go ahead and talk about it. Or if it's your first gift giving time in power exchange, worth a conversation. Or if it never seems to go right when you do gift giving, is past time for a conversation. Because like this is supposed to be, gift giving times are meant to be a happy time. If you are not happy receiving or giving a gift, say something, right? Like if you're like, I don't want gifts, that's okay. You get to say something. You get to, like, that's a boundary you get to have. Please don't give me a gift. If you're unhappy with the way gifting is done in your power exchange, that's worth a conversation. So yeah, it's not like this big deep thing, but it is something to think about. Here's the bigger, deeper thing. And we have talked about this before, and I have linked in the places to the, I think it was a mini podcast episode / video. And that's spending time with family. So we did a thing on like tips for like surviving the holidays with your non-kink, your vanilla family and friends. But spending time with family while you're in a power exchange during the holidays, and you're kinky and they're not, and do they know, and do you want them to know? These are things you have to think about.
Right.
If you haven't already.
First, I just want to say, coming out or not wanting to come out about your kink life is a very personal thing.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And, in some families, it doesn't matter. And in some families, I've heard of people where, their immediate family knows, but some people in the family are not very kind about it.
Right.
So those are all kinds of things you have to think about in that aspect. And it's kind of ramped up during the holidays.
Oh yeah, there's all this pressure and there's all this stuff going on, and depending on which holiday you're celebrating, it's the most magical time of year. Is it? I'm tired is what I am. Tired and broke. That's what I am at this time of year. It doesn't feel very magical.
No. Just means more work, but
which eventually we won't be like, the kids will be grown up and won't be doing it quite the same.
And, it's kind of an awkward thing, too, because, if family doesn't know anything, then you kind of got to think about, what you can and can't do in front of them, because then comes kind of the whole consent thing. I mean, like with Kayla's family, they know. But they don't want to know any details.
No. My aunt would love to know details, but I just keep reminding her she can't unknow it once she knows, and that gets her to calm down.
And so, in that case, you need to kind of watch and, because it does come down to a consent thing being around family. Absolutely.
There's also you need to think very deeply and very carefully and very clearly about what kind of awkward questions you feel like answering. Like, I have, like I said, my aunt really doesn't want to know, but she thinks she does. So she would let me tell her anything. My mother knows more than she ever wanted to know. And that's a whole saga that
Something
episode
else,
is like 300 episodes ago. It's fine. That was a moment. But, I also, part of the reason I don't share, even though they kind of have a top level sort of pseudo understanding, is I don't want them asking questions that I don't feel like answering.
Right.
Not around the Christmas dinner table, not while we're unwrapping presents, not anytime. Please no, don't ask me those questions, even if it comes from hey, I'm kind of interested in this and I'd like to learn more. Like, I don't know if I could handle it if my 64-year-old mother and my 61-year-old aunt were asking me for kink advice. I think my head would explode. But even if that were to happen, the place I don't want to be having these conversations is around these holiday family times when there's a lot going on and there's a lot of people around that maybe you should not be part of the conversation or don't want to be part of the conversation. So even then, I've long thought about, okay, how do we present in front of non-kink families specifically? Once we moved in together, 99.9% of my friends became kinky people because it was going to munches and we were doing community stuff. And so friends, not that big a deal. My BFF, God, I met her when I was freaking 19. Over margaritas and queso, I can tell her anything, and have recommended products to her over the years. So we have that kind of relationship, but I'm probably not gonna call JB daddy in front of her. I'm not gonna talk about my collar in front of her, not because I think she would be prudish, but it's like that's not the nature of our relationship. Right. So for me, it tends to be more about family. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are raising children while being in a power exchange, you actually already have practice at this, even if you don't think you do. Like, what do you not let your children see? Guess what? Don't let grandpa see it either, okay? If you want to keep that private and you don't want to answer awkward questions, treat the rest of your family like you're being, under the radar in front of your kids. Now, if you're super out and like with your kids, then that's a different conversation. But that's how I look at it, is that this is the time, the holidays are the time to figure out what subtle power exchange means for you. What can you do publicly that has meaning for y'all that nobody else is going to clock, right? I've talked about this many times over the years. If we're at a family gathering and it's a meal, I'm going to serve JB his plate. Mm-hmm. I look like a good Southern woman because that's, the expectation. But I know I'm doing it because this is a way I can do something for my daddy, right? Like, it means something to me. It's like when we're sitting in a restaurant, if he orders coffee, I'm going to do his coffee up. That's a thing that people might go, why is she doing that for him? But it doesn't, I don't care about that. It just has to have meaning for me. Right. If you normally wear what feels to you a very obvious collar, and that's not a conversation you want to have with your Meemaw, then maybe for the visit you go to what we would call like a day collar that doesn't get clocked as something, right? It's much more subtle. But that, I think the big thing to keep in mind is it's another conversation you need to have with your partner before you find yourself in the situation. Mm-hmm. Because I know me, if I haven't pre-planned how things are going to go and I get caught in the moment without that plan in my mind, I will default to however I normally do it. And that's not a thing I necessarily want to do in front of my family. So, it could be some people just don't do anything that even is near their power exchange when they're with family. Some people look for subtle things. Some people make sure that they have their own hotel room or they are leaving quickly. Like they have a place to go to have their private space and time to be as, kinky as they can be. When we used to go visit my mom in South Mississippi, that would be a week, 2 during that one storm where we evacuated, where nope. That was, the kids were too close and the mom and evil stepdad were way too close.
Yep.
We just put it on lockdown, other than the subtle stuff. Yeah. And then the subtle stuff that translates to when you're out in a restaurant, when you're at the movies, when you're, at your company, something, picnic, party, like whatever, that those things come in handy. Anything, this is the other thing about, spending time with family. Mm-hmm. This came to me, one, because we've been long distance before. And then also the folks who are, and not necessarily because it's a non-monogamy, open and proud situation, but I'm married over here, but this person over here is my dom, and that person over there is married with their own family, and I'm their submissive. And now we're at the holidays, and it's are you going to see one another? Is that even going to be feasible? But so that's something to think about. But for long distance, that can get, I remember for us until we started spending, like when we could, a holiday or two together, it was really tough because we were each pulled in different directions. Yes. And so we didn't have a lot of time to kind of come back to one another, and we couldn't keep up our normal routines. We weren't communicating as much. I would still be working other than like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and you'd have several days off, but you'd be at home and like with your regular life going on, and it was tough. The thing is talk about it now. Make a plan now. The plan may not go to plan. You might, it's one of those things where you make the plan and then you have to throw out the plan because reality happened. But talk.
No battle survives, or no plan survives battle.
Right. But it's worth the conversation. Like, when do we think we can talk? Will we be able to see one another? How do we feel about not seeing one another? What do we normally do in a routine? And how will this upcoming visit with family and whoever else affect that? You can't completely eliminate the possibility of feeling sad or feeling lonely or even hurt feelings over the way things are going, especially when you can't be together. But you can minimize them a bit just by being upfront and honest with each other. Like, if you are, especially long distance, let's say, one of you has kids and the holidays are a huge time for your children and for you as a parent. That means there are times when your priority is, as a parent, doing the holiday thing you do with your kids. If you can fit this partner into that in a way that works for everybody involved, great. But that might not be the case. I can respect and understand and feel for somebody who's like, I don't get to be a part of that because we're long distance, because this is a thing that maybe not everybody knows about, whatever. And yeah, it can suck to be like, man, I have to give up this time that I thought I would have with my partner or that we would normally get together. But, that might be a time when you realize, is this a relationship I want to continue? Because it's like, in this case, I'm using the kids as an example because that can be a huge priority for people at the holidays, especially. These children are part of this person's life. And until y'all are more enmeshed together and physically together, this will keep coming up, right? So if it hurts now and it feels like it sucks now and you hate this now, this doesn't stop. Like, the kids continue to exist, right? But so you can't prepare for every eventuality, but you can talk about it. You can absolutely talk about it. I know for us, before we got married, I think before we moved in, you did a Christmas with my family. And I did he get taken out to the barn and have a real serious conversation?
Yeah.
While the future evil stepdad was cleaning a gun or something?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
dude, you're only like 8 or 9 years older than this man. What are you doing? Age gaps are weird. This is a time of life when age gaps are super weird. Anybody who's ever been like, oh my God, my partner is around the age of my parents, it gets weird, because that normal, like, chauvinistic, misogynistic bullshit of, I've got to threaten you with a gun, I do not like it. It doesn't hit the same when that person was probably in high school at the same time you were. You know what I mean? They're probably going to retire when you retire. Like, that's just, we're not intimidating like a, 18-year-old here. So, but yeah. So what was your first experience? Well, what do you remember from our first, for us, it's Christmas, it's the holiday we celebrate. What do you remember from our first Christmas together?
Oh gosh.
Other than the being subtly threatened with a gun.
That was, sadly, that's the thing that kind of stands out the most to me after all this time. Evil stepdad, because even through dinner he was throwing questions and shit at me.
Oh yeah, because evil stepdad nosy
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah.
He always couched it in, I'm being protective. I'm like, protective from what? I've known you since I was 25.
Yeah.
Who are you? My mother could have done that and I would have respected it more, because I'm like, oh, it's my mommy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember there being a lot of trying to be intimidating. And I was just, and you know what? Part of that was the whole Southern thing of, but part of it I've long thought, especially after we got together and were together, and you were there for all the family stuff, was that you were dealing with a thing that a lot of people do to you, and I just find laughable. You are quiet, and you don't need to be the center of attention, and you don't need to tell everybody who you are, what you are. Your confidence is quiet and does not have to be like, it's not blasted out.
For the most part, I'm comfortable in my skin.
Right, and that's hard earned and hard won. And it's a thing that's always like been a draw to me. I just fucking love it. And some people can't handle it. And I guess I really think that they saw you as quiet and assumed that, and God, this misogynistic bullshit, that I would run right all over you.
Yeah, that I was a pushover.
Yeah. And it was like, y'all have no fucking clue. Now, early days when we were, before we got married and everything, before the whole evil stepdad thing reared its head, my mom and stepdad on their property, they have this barn shop thing, and they had built an apartment on the back end of it that they had used while they were building their house. Well, it became, for years, it was like our opportunity to have basically a week away. Yeah, the kids were there, but the kids were in the main house with grandma and papa, and we were in the apartment. And it was so, and I think we had that the first time as well. And so it was delightful because it meant that we could be in the house and doing the family stuff, but at night, you know, nobody can hear you scream out there.
That's right.
And so it was always such a mind fuck to know that JB was being treated a certain way on a perception of what it means to be a quietly confident man, and treating you like you were probably going to be a pushover because I am seen as bossy, loudmouth, pushy woman. Sure, whatever. And it was always funny to me because it's like, yeah, you're thinking that now. You do not know what happens behind those closed doors and how we are desecrating your apartment. The shit we did. And yeah. There was no...
If those walls could speak.
There was no doubt about who was in charge in the situation. So if you happen to be facing that sort of the perception of who people think you are because they don't actually know this side of it, just remember who you really are behind closed doors, and you ain't got nothing to fucking prove to any of them. So last one, and it's the one I think that came to mind first when I was like, this is an appropriate topic. Dealing with stress during the holidays. Now, we deal with stress all the time. We have done episodes on stress and disagreements and arguments and anger. Did I remember to link to any of those? No, I'll try to remember that later. So this is not just a holiday specific thing, but it is a thing that I think throws some people off because either because that's how it has been in the past or because we are believing the Hallmark, message of this is supposed to be this happy, wonderful, joyous time, and anybody who has to do anything with planning around the holidays knows that the thing they're probably not feeling is joyous. You are running from store to store or clicking from website to website. You are waiting for packages to arrive. You're trying to hide gifts from people. You're trying to deal with family, and work is probably nuts. If you've got kids in school, they're doing 85 million things. It's a time that does not always feel joyous. And so,
yeah,
I think many people will internalize that of, oh, I'm not real happy right now. I'm real stressed out. I'm doing, this holiday season wrong. No, you're not. This is life.
To me, life is stressful on a good day. But, coming into the holidays, I think it is magnified.
Absolutely, especially with the high expectations. So with respect specifically to power exchange, the first thing I always like to do for folks is to normalize it. If y'all disagree, if you perfect, devoted, loving, submissive, are side-eyeing your dom, like, what the fuck is wrong with them? You're not doing submission wrong, okay? You're being a human at a stressful time. The thing that will sometimes, especially if it's been negotiated, dictate how we respond to one another in those moments is what you've negotiated in your relationship. We've said this 10 million times after all these years. The rule I have is I can say anything I fucking need to JB. Even if it's to tell him that he was wrong and I'm mad at him, I just have to do it with respect. Right. That's what we've negotiated, which gives me a lot of latitude to share my opinion. I think it's because JB took one look at me and went, this bitch is not going to be able to hold back her opinion. It's just not possible, so let's work with what we got.
Nope, ain't going to happen.
But, if you've never had that conversation, if you are so new into power exchange, maybe not the relationship, but the power exchange part, that you kind of can't conceive that you'll get mad at one another. Let me disabuse you of that idea and tell you to start preparing, because something will happen. And how are you going to handle the conflict? We know people who put a timeout and go, we're not power exchange right now. We are dealing with this issue and we will resolve it and then we'll go back into it. We have the say whatever you gotta fucking say. There are people who will schedule time, specific, like lay out time of, this is the time to go over grievances. That does not stop you from being upset in the moment that something happens. But that can be helpful and useful for knowing you're going to have an opportunity to say what you need to say. That is especially important for submissives who, depending on your dynamic, might not have that kind of relationship where you just say it in the moment. I have the relationship where I say it in the moment. Do I sometimes get told to hush my mouth and we will talk about it later? Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Do I hate that?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, I do. And then I have to hate it a second time because he's right and we have a more productive conversation when we've calmed down. I hate that. So let's start there, just acknowledging there's going to be stress, there's probably going to be a disagreement, you're going to be short-tempered with one another. I have not always as in the way I would like to, but I think I did it just today. I have found ways as a submissive to be dealing with a cranky, grumpy polar bear, John Brownstone, and to say, hopefully not in a condescending way. I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to be like nice and sweet and go, I love you. You are my best friend. You're the best dom I know. I love you. I'm glad we're married. This is wonderful. However,
but
you are speaking to me this way, and you're looking at me this way, and I said this today, I am not the enemy. I am here to make your life easier and better. That's what I do, because as a service submissive, that's what I do personally. Help me help you. Help me help you. Now, if he starts grinning when I start laying it on thick like that and being all silly about it, I know I can get sassier and sassier. If he looks at me with dead eyes, I have to tread very carefully and watch my tone.
Watch your step.
The holidays are also a time, if you happen to be a service submissive who does a lot of domestic stuff, a lot of caregiving, like to either older adults or to children or to whatever, this is a time you well know that things get busier. And it's, to me, a time you need to be talking to your dom about the division of labor and things that you need help with. I'm going to be very skeptical of a dominant partner who goes, that's not my job. Well, is it your fucking household and family? We all contribute here. JB knows that if you wait for me to put up Christmas decorations, it'll be January before I go, oh, that's right. We should have had Christmas decorations.
I've been the decorating elf here.
He has done it. Poor thing. He gave me one job at Black Friday time. I don't know what he was thinking. And I still haven't done that one job. But he knows there's no way I have time to do the things I normally do as a submissive, as a business partner, as a mom, as a whatever, and do some of these other things. So he goes, I can do these things. I have the time because she's working on that stuff over there. And he just does it. So it doesn't get all laid on my shoulders.
In a work sense for us during the holidays, my work is done during the day. I am cranking stuff out, making what going on, like today I had several things. I was doing paddles. I was working on some of the ornaments that we're going to give as gifts to family. I was working on a pen order, doing all these kinds of things. And it's weird because at night, I'm done. I pack up the equipment and the wood, and I'm done till the next morning. You, on the other hand,
are still
going strong. And it's funny because even though I'm her big D, her daddy, there's still a part of me that feels a little guilty. I'm always asking her, can I help? Is there something I can do?
And guess what? I actually let him help me
She
the other
did.
day, and I taught him. I'm wrapping paracord bundles. Paracord is important to the kinkery, kinkery.com. And I've been very delayed on this. So I'm wrapping up these paracord bundles. They have to get done. It's not an option anymore. But I had been jonesing for sweet tea.
Yeah.
The youngest had been like, Mom, when? Because everybody knows Mom makes the sweet tea. Mom is the most Southern of the people living in this house. Mom makes the sweet tea. And I was like, yeah, buddy, I wanna make it. I plan on it. It was 8:30 at night on a Sunday, and I'm like, I still have not made this damn sweet tea. So I am really bad about asking for help. If JB comes and offers help, if I can think of something in that moment, I'll try to go, yes, this would be great if you can. And sometimes I go, I cannot think of anything, I'm so sorry. This was a moment where he was like peaceful in his bathrobe, just like chilling, and I went, hey, you know how you say you want to help with things if you can? And he goes, and it was the sweetest thing. He looked so excited. He was like, yes. And he thought he was going to get to work on kinkery things. I was like, no, that's not where I need help.
Nope,
And
she
so,
put me in a whole different room.
He's in the kitchen. Now, Podcast Illustrated, you cannot see this, but where we record, there is a window. It's technically an exterior window because our office used to be the outside of the house. And that window goes into the kitchen. And we usually have the window up. We can talk through. We can hear stuff, whatever. So I'm standing at my shipping station, which is on the other side of that window, doing stuff with paracord. And I'm walking him through step by step through this window how to make my
Iced
sweet
tea.
tea.
Yeah. Yep.
And he was, it feels weird to me from the service submissive aspect of guiding or walking through or telling my daddy Dom how to do anything because of the way I kind of see my role and how I want to be talked to at different times and how we engage with one another in those roles. And this was outside of our roles, but in a way it wasn't. He is a daddy Dom. He's a nurturing, caregiving kind of Dom. He wants to take care of me. He really would like me to let him take care of me, you know? And so it's not, and that's the thing I would tell submissives. If you have a dominant partner who wants to be fucking helping you, let them help you. They are no less Dom. You are no less submissive. You're actually just being a team and trying to get through shit.
Right. Because, it's the other thing, she talks about how she does for me, but in those moments when she's busy like that and she's working late, I do whatever I can to help her and make it as easy as possible. I'm checking, do you need anything to drink? Can I get you a drink? Do you want a nibble? You want a snack while you're working back here?
And that, for the folks who would be like, oh, that doesn't sound very dominant. Well, I'm guessing you haven't met very many caregiving Doms. That is extremely dominant because what he's going to do is he's going to ask me for things I want or back in the day when we left the house more often, he would just sometimes come back with like a Diet Coke because he knew it would be a little thing for me and I'd be happy. Yeah. But him asking, what can I do for you, is not a subservient, submissive position to be in. It's I am clearly communicating with you that I'm here for you, but I don't want to do shit that does not help you, that does not alleviate your stress, that does not actually do anything for you.
Right. That's not contributing to moving forward with whatever's going on.
This is right up there with communicating your kinks, right? It's like you got to be able to say the words to get the thing you want. It's a little bit more fun and not always easier, but it's kind of easier when you're doing it under the umbrella of we're talking about our kinks and I'm going to get, there's going to be fuckery in the future because of this. So I don't think we think about it translating to a one-to-one translation to another situation, but it is no different. Those same skills that hopefully you're like getting good at and perfecting over here are being used here. He is just... He's
it's just an extension of, talked about it for years. You take care of your toys. You take care of your toys. You have to.
And also, I would like there to be a parenthetical that's unspoken, but I have to say things out loud. And your wife. Yeah. The person you love. And your life partner. But yes, also your toys. I think it's a thing that you don't bring ego into it. There's no point where you're like, I'm such a domly dom. I have to be so much in charge that I can never be seen asking how to help, right? I'm never going to be impressed with the kind of dom who just thinks they are just supposed to know stuff or treats their partner like their partner's input is not important and not necessary. And that's not just to kinks. When we're talking about power exchange, especially if you're long-term, you're living together, you're trying to build a life together, you know, there's so much more that goes into what it means to be a dom and a sub in that relationship that has nothing to fucking do with kinks. It's how you're navigating the whole relationship. But if a dom has this view, or God help us if the submissive has a view of the dom of when you ask for things that you're somehow no longer in control or in charge. I've even seen, it's been a while, but oh God, it's stuck with me, seen as being weak to ask a question of your submissive. No, we care about consent around here. We care about actually doing stuff that's meaningful. It's not meaningful to me if he comes in and says, oh, I know you need help, here's what I'm going to do, and he's organizing paper clips while, you know, I'm over here drowning in, you know, paddles or something. Like, the best doms and subs, but speaking as a submissive, the best doms their ego is in the background. Like, yeah, everybody's got some kind of ego. We have these things we feel and, you know, try to see ourselves out and try to be. But it goes back to that quiet confidence thing. Jamie doesn't have to project an image of what he thinks being a dom means. He just has to be himself and genuinely care about me as a human being. And he's not always going to get it right. I'm not always going to ask for help when I should. But the whole, hey, I'm here to be a partner with you and we're on the same team. For us, you know, in our relationship, it extends way past the fuckery, way past the what are we doing to be kinky, and it's how we're living our life. That's just, there's a layer on top of that, and really it's kind of interwoven of the power exchange, because the way we live our power exchange is he is always the decider. He is always daddy. We've said this before. I'll say it again, even though it makes me like, I have a feeling deep in the pit of my stomach. He could say tomorrow, we don't do DS anymore. I'm not your daddy, Dom. And whether he likes it or not, he cannot control my internal world. I would still, to some extent, treat him that way because that's who we are together. I would not use terms he did not want. I would stop doing activities. But in my mind, he's always going to be my daddy. That's who the fuck he is. He's not getting away from it. No matter what he does, no matter how hard he tries. But being the one in charge does not just mean being the one to spout commands and sit back like the grand poobah and everybody's doing shit for you. It's getting in there and getting your hands dirty and getting shit done in service of the relationship and the well-being of your partner. That's true on either side of the slash, but, you know, for these kinds of power exchange relationships, that's what it takes and what it looks like. Now, what it physically looks like, vastly different from relationship to relationship. You know, some people are not gonna stand there and let their service submissive walk them through making Southern sweet tea in the kitchen, but they might do something else. They might offer something else. They might show up in some way to help alleviate the stress differently. But the point is it's going to be stressful at these holidays. It's going to be stressful in life. And are you working together, or is the submissive being thrown out there on their own and Dom's just like, I'm just here to get what I want and for it to be about me, and I hope you do good over there or whatever. Like, if you're ever like, am I in the right relationship? That's a potential test. You know, are you a team, or is one of you making a lot of effort and the other one not so much, you know? So yeah, the stress is going to happen. It's already happening. We're recording this in December. So everybody's kind of probably in the thick of it right now. Yeah. If you have not had the conversation with your partner about how you feel about the stress, how it's impacting your power exchange, we do even less of our more outward physical power exchangey stuff at this time of the year. It's too busy for us. It's too stressful.
Right.
What it means, though, is two things. One, the little bit we can do, much more meaningful, because we know that it's like us snatching away an opportunity.
Make it count. Yeah.
Right. Two, the moment things feel like they're slowing down a little bit, and over the years we know kind of when that time frame is, we're going to look for opportunities. We're going to let's reconnect. Let's have a moment. Let's just, you know, but I think it just makes it harder if you aren't having the conversation about it. If you're not laying it out there, like, look, as you're submissive. I already do these things, but now I've got these things on top of it. Doms, y'all do shit ideally as the dom, and also as a productive, human in the world. You've got your things that you have to deal with, and then you have the added stuff of whatever the holidays brings to you, right? Neither of you are failing if that other stuff is getting in the way, but I think you're doing yourself as an individual and the power exchange a disservice if you don't just sit down and go, look, this sucks right now, and how are we going to get through it, and what do we need to calm down on, and where can we pick up the slack for each other. And also, let's remember we like one another, and after these holidays are over, we'd like to still be together.
Yeah,
that's a thing I say to JB a lot, like, whoa. Yeah, this moment sucks, but we're still gonna, like, we need to be nice to one another now, because we still want to be together then. So remember, we're on the same team. And some of that's old habits from before you got kinky and before power exchange was a thing. You just bring that stuff over because you went through shit, or you had partners who, did not pay attention to you, or, you handled things in ways that, might have been about gender expectations and societal norms, but don't fit power exchange. And most people are, if they're thinking about the communication they need, they're thinking about what am I doing as a dom? What am I doing as a sub? What kinks are we doing? What kind of scenes are we doing? And too many people forget, oh yeah, we've got to survive this family meal together. That most people aren't negotiating that until they're in the thick of it, or it's the aftermath and it didn't go well. And you're like, what just happened to us? Where did our power exchange go? And so you're dealing with it in the aftermath. So, if you've got time, talk about it now. Is my whole point. That's all I'm saying. What wisdom would you add? Since I
think I'd just say this: at this time of the year, you need to be kind to yourself.
And remember that your partner needs a little extra kindness too. They're probably not doing this, whatever they're doing, to piss you off. Probably going through it themselves.
So but I know I'm looking forward to rocking up to the Christmas dinner in full leather gear and paddles and floggers hanging off the utility belt.
See who's intimidating then. I imagine there's going to come a point in our life, because, if the boys, get married in a hetero appearing relationship, there's that sort of jokey meme trope thing of, oh my God, I'm dad's mom, right? and dad's side of the family is usually like, does anybody even know they exist? And I get it, because was always very tight and have been very tight with my mom and my mom's side of the family. So that makes me think that there will probably be times in the future where our holidays will literally be just the two of us. And you know what? I think I could see us having a very kinky Christmas.
Yep.
But it's just the two of us. Those boys better call before they come over.
They'll get an eye full of something they can't unsee.
I use that. I use that with my aunt. I don't have to use it with my mom. She's already like, I don't want to know. But I use it with the kids too. And they'll get a little curious. The oldest is legal adult age. If he asks something, I'm much more prone to answer it, because I'm like, yeah, you're an adult, technically on paper. But that's my go-to. You can't unknow this. So choose wisely. So yeah. But no, speaking of family and kinky stuff, I was very proud of my mother the last time she was in town. She not only walked into this space that we're recording in, which is our office and inventory and blah, blah, blah. She sat down and talked for a while I was working at the computer. And we have paddles stacked everywhere. We had all kinds of shit everywhere. Our boards, podcast listeners, you can't see them. For the video, we have background. And we have a kinky sex sticker board in the background. She sat where JB sits, which is directly in front of that sticker board, and never batted an eyelash. I was like, look at you. look at you being around it without having to like know too many details.
And I think I was wrapping handles for order.
You absolutely were.
Yeah.
You absolutely were. So yeah, there's no one way to do any of this. It's going to be unique to your situation,
Right.
Your family, your partner, who you are as a person. I just, like everything, I think it's the thing we have to be reminded of is it's worth a conversation before you find yourself in the thick of it, and your power exchange can be good for a lot of things. It can provide structure maybe that you want, and it can provide guidance for how you want to live your life. There will always be outside factors, extenuating circumstances that are there to potentially blow it all to hell. And, being aware of that is part of it, and kind of flowing with it until you can get back to whatever air quote normal looks like for you. It's another part. So, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that on that, I think.
Are we,
Yeah, we'll go into a bonus section. Reminder, if you're on Blue Sky, so are we. Literally just in the search, type our names. We'll come up. We're still little baby accounts, so you can easily, like, if you find me, Kayla Lords, you'll find everything else, right? and who I'm following.
Yep.
So, yeah. So there's that.
So, are we good?
I don't know. It's not for me to say.
Keep it kinky, y'all.
And we'll see you next week.
Yes, baby girl.
Can we talk to the crickets?
You can. You can.
Well, thank you. You. Who's talking to the crickets? What have you got? Bonus section.
We went to see the oldest perform last night.
Yes,
Brass band.
Brass band. He just joined this school year. We missed the first concert of the year because he decided to tell us about it the day before.
Yeah.
In the same week, he had another concert that we had already planned on going to. I was like, we cannot do all of these things in 1 week. So we got to go.
Yeah.
It was Christmas themed.
And it was really good. It was really good.
That was really pleasant to watch. And he did a trio for a song. I can't remember the name of it now. And he texted me before, and I knew he was in it. And I saw his name on the program. I was like, oh. And he goes, "You're going to record that, right?" I'm like, "I'm going to try." So I recorded it for him and I sent it to him. He's like, "Oh, I sounded good." I was like, "Good." I didn't know what I was hearing. So I just was like, "That's my baby." And, but it was good.
It was.
And he has gotten to a point, freshman year especially, he was like, "Okay, you've come to visit me. Let's go get food." And now he's like, "I am tired. Y'all have a good, safe trip home. I'm going to the bed.
Going home, going to sleep.
I'm too tired for this." I'm like, I love this because I spend a lot less money now on these trips.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. You can't see it. It's off camera. And podcast listeners, you can't see it at all. We do have our office Christmas tree. I have found 2 of the ornaments for it. We don't have kinky ornaments. God, we should. But we do have coffee themed ornaments. So hopefully we've got 2 episodes left before we go on our break for the end of the year. So hopefully we will get our tree up. But as somebody who was told 5 days ago that she needed to floof our tree in the living room, I hope nobody is counting on me to get the tree up.
I made her the designated fluffer.
It is a part of dealing with the Christmas tree that I am okay with. It's kind of satisfying and soothing to me as long as I don't get bored. If I get bored, oh my God, I just want to wander away. But if I can get into the zone of it, I love it because then I've got this nice, fat, floofy, artificial tree when we're done. But our Black Friday did not go the way we thought it would for the kinkery. And our Black Friday, like, oh, biggest sales of the year, everybody's shopping. For us, that was this weekend instead of like the Friday. It's delightful. I'm not complaining. But it's meant that it's Wednesday now as we're recording. I've spent the past 3 days dealing with just the stuff that came up from that. And I was like 12-hour days. And then yesterday we're stopping everything so we can go to a performance. We've got this and that. I'm like, I would love to floof the tree, but I'm not sure when I can. I mean, good Lord, Sunday night I was like, JB, here's how you make sweet tea.
Yeah.
And actually it was like, here's how I make sweet tea.
Yeah.
But No, I'm also the one. I think I said this last time. I'm fine if there's no decorations on our tree. It's really pretty, just the lights. But I do see that the decorations are sitting out. Are they sitting out waiting for me to floof the tree?
Yes.
Do I have to put decorations on the tree?
No.
Oh, yay. Okay, I feel like I have incentive.
All I asked was for you to fluff the tree.
I know. You asked, like, literally. God, did you put the tree up day of Thanksgiving or a couple days after?
Day after.
Day after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel awful, but I think in my defense, I have not been sitting down to just be done until like 10 o'clock at night.
And see,
night.
I did not make it a task for her either.
No. Oh, God, the pressure. It would have been done, but the pressure.
Yeah. So.
The pressure.
But, last year, the way things played out for Christmas, we were lucky to even get our tree up.
That's true. That's true. You were doing better this year.
and no decorations on it. And this year I wanted to make sure some stuff got put out.
Yeah.
I wanted the tree. Got the stockings all hung on the
You
mantle.
do the stockings every year, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did some of the stuff outside. I've got a couple more things to put up outside.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I wanted to make sure, too, my mom did she was into ceramics for a while. And she did some ceramics. And she has a ceramic Christmas village. Mm-hmm. And also a ceramic tree. And I wanted to put that stuff out this year.
We still need to go get light bulbs that fit it.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, that was kind of neat. But, and put got the nutcrackers. I put them all up on, up on the top.
Yeah, we have this high spot in our living room, dining room area that, Onyx likes to jump up there. It's way up high. Like, you have to get out the big ladder to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came in through the front door from something. I probably running an errand. I had to go get some stuff done. And I walk in and I'm like, I just don't normally walk through the front door and look up. Mm-hmm. And I looked up and went, oh, all the nutcrackers. So there's a nutcracker. I don't know if it's an ornament or if it's just a little tchotchke thing where when it opens, I don't know if you've seen this online. When it opens, it's not his mouth opening to crack.
I saw that. Yes.
It's a dick popping out. And I'm like, I want that.
Yep.
Not bad enough to go seek it out, but I was okay. I'll take that. I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Bad design.
I think that was a purposeful design, but maybe bad design.
I think it was. I saw that on Refashioned Hippie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you follow her on Instagram.
Yeah,
I just discovered she's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love her. Her humor is.
We are very curious about. We would never ask. We would never comment and ask. Is she kinky? Mm-hmm. There've been a couple times I've seen things that look like collars. Mm-hmm. But I often forget that that's a fashion statement to some people. Yeah. So I'm like,
well, she has made some comments in some of her reels that kind of had me.
Yeah, and she seems, if nothing else, she seems like kind of. She even did a reel where she goes, "We do not kink shame here, but we do kink question why this exists."
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Refashioned Hippie on Instagram and apparently on YouTube.
Yeah. No.
So. Mm-hmm. What else? Lola's a menace. Mm-hmm. I think we said this last week. This weather that we've had, she freaking loves it. She's in and out, in and out, in and out. You let her out a few minutes ago, and I heard this thump on the side of the house, and I realized that's her just like plopping down in the warm rocks in the sun. She is baking like a potato out there.
I almost was tempted to join her yesterday.
You have just walked around perpetually frozen.
Yeah.
I'm over here going, this is the best. I love this temperature. And he's like, I'm a little icicle. I feel bad for you, but also I'm so excited to just not be so stinking hot.
I know.
You know.
And I am happy for you. I am. I'm happy for you that you have managed to reach some kind of temperate agreement there, with yourself.
Part of it is absolutely this weather. And we, it's nice enough that we don't, we don't run the heat. We'll open the windows. If it gets a little bit more moderate, we'll have the windows open. It's a little too cold even for us to open the windows. Yeah. I think also my HRT has started kind of kicking in better. So I'm feeling the benefits of that. So, yeah. But yeah, that's us.
Yeah, I'm doing my shop thing.
It's early December, and that's still technically enough time, but I just pulled up like search tab things of what to get our children for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Look, extended family.
Oh yeah.
Extended family's getting homemade shit. They don't mind. Like my mom loves that stuff. My aunt is just as broke as we are. She's like, I might not get you anything. I was like, please don't. You cannot. I know what's going on in your life. You cannot afford it. Do not worry.
Yeah, no.
So everybody's focusing on the kids this year, which is fine. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, they actually asked for stuff this year. We should probably actually get it for them because it's like one of the first years in forever they didn't just go, just give me money. Just give me money. They're like, no, I want this thing and that thing. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's us. I maybe it was getting a good night's sleep and not overheating in the middle of the night. I actually woke up with a couple of in-depth topics for the podcast. The holidays, when like we're half brain dead anyway, is not the time for it. One I actually want to do more research on. Very impressed with myself, and I wrote them down so I would not forget them.
Well, that's a good thing. That's always a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing like the old days and actually trying to plan for the year ahead. I'm very proud of us.
Yep.
I don't have anything else.
No.
Because I don't think anybody wants to hear me bitch about a profession I chose and the work I asked to do. So
I don't want to hear it.
Hey! Actually, this is the first day I think I will be able to floof the tree. Okay. Because I think we'll be able to, like, I can slow down today. Yeah. It's very nice.
I was, I have wanted to say, I know we have the Q&A coming
for
up.
Patreon.
Yep.
Saturday. December 7th.
And, we talked several weeks ago about going thrifting.
I know we haven't done that.
And we haven't done that. So
you can thrift on a Sunday. It doesn't have to be a Saturday.
I know. Well, we've had stuff going on every weekend for the last couple of weeks.
And we also had a serious conversation about, semi-serious, on Thanksgiving with the oldest, the 19-year-old, about, why he would just prefer to be in his apartment. And it's all valid stuff that had I had an apartment at his age, that's what I would have done too. Yeah. So he's like, I like my bed better. My stuff is there, whatever. So you mentioned it to him and I heard, and so it's been stuck in my head. He's like, oh, so maybe it's time to actually keep the bed as a guest room or whatever, but use the space, the spare bedroom, for us and our plans. And so I walked in today and I started looking. I was like, if we move that and we put like a big table there, that could be for me, and you could have this, and I was.
Because I want to utilize part of it to make a little gaming spot. Find a TV at a thrift store and, hook up the gaming consoles.
My concern, this is not a large room.
I know.
At all. He chose that room when we moved in, but it ended up being the smaller of the two bedrooms. Is that we have big dreams and not enough space for it.
Yeah.
So for me, I just want like a corner of area where I can actually set up my sewing machine and have a space to not have to take it down and put it away and every time, and it just lives there, and maybe even a little flat space for easy cutting of fabric.
I may end up rolling that thing into the bedroom anyway, just to.
Well, I don't know. You have to have a conversation with Onyx. She uses the second shelf.
I know she does.
For looking out the window.
I know she does.
We got to a point. I have this 3-tiered rolly cart where I keep all my sewing stuff that is now covered in cat hair. Because the second shelf, there was an open space that I didn't fill with anything, and so Onyx started sitting there because it was perfect to look out the window next to where it was. And when my very first ever like little quilts that are poorly made were made for the girls, 2 cat little quilts and 1 for Lola.
Yeah.
And so we folded up one of the cat quilt things and put it on that shelf, and that's their seat.
Yep, I know.
That's their. So you have to talk to your girl.
I know exactly what I'm going to do.
You are in that frame of mind of like you're moving and changing and doing and planning, and you're like, I got stuff to do. Like it's it's not. I think it's a creative thing. It's a renewal thing. It's a I want to make changes thing, like small changes, like not like run away from home and get a Corvette or something.
Hey, I don't know. That new Corvette sounds pretty wild. 1,064 horsepower, top speed of 312 miles an hour.
I feel like this is where I make a disparaging remark about compensation, but whatever. Overcompensating. Anyway, like it feels like a renewal energy from you.
Yeah.
Like you're just, I don't know.
I have been, and I started it. It's been a slow little process. I despise clutter. I really do dislike clutter, and it's as much as my fault as anyone's what has happened around here. There's just clutter everywhere.
Yeah.
And little by little, I have started chipping away at it because I'm just tired of all this stuff. And I have noticed that as I have been clearing some of this stuff out, it's also clearing out stuff up here in my head.
Yep.
Yeah.
My mom got me into this habit years ago, and I stopped doing it, after we moved into this house, quite frankly. And she calls it her purge every year.
Yeah.
She goes through her closets, and if she didn't need it through the year, it's used to be if I didn't think about it, I didn't remember I had it, I toss it. I think she is more aware of how brains can work, and it's more like if I didn't need it, even if I forgot this existed, and maybe had to buy another one or whatever, if it was never necessary within the past 365 days, then she gets rid of it. And I used to do something like that myself, and I haven't for years.
Funny story on that note. When we moved into the house here, there was the ugliest chandelier in the dining area.
Oh, God. It was so ugly. We got rid of that thing quick.
Yeah, that didn't last long. But what I did do was I saved all the bulbs out of there because they were the little LED candelabra bowls. Excuse me. And I put them in a box and put them in the hall closet, and that's where they sat.
That has been dubbed the tech closet now.
Yeah. And those bulbs have sat in that closet up until 3 months ago. And I was like, we are not going to use these things for anything. They don't fit any lights we have. I'm going to get rid of them. And I did. In setting up my mom's Christmas village, did I find out that those bulbs would have fit perfectly in that? Yeah, I did. Yeah, they would have.
And see, that's the trap of falling into, I have to keep it because what if I need it, right? I get it. I get it.
So, but I think there's even a term for, I think it's a feng shui.
I believe don't ask me. I know that's about how things are laid out in a room, feng shui, but that's all I know.
So it's it's something I've been doing, and I've been slowly. My gosh, just what I cleaned out of the closet. And the closet still has a long way to go.
Our bedroom closet has been a disaster for a while, but over a few years where we did this crazy marathon of freelance sex toy reviews.
God.
Do not recommend.
No.
We had built up stuff that had to be dealt with, and some stuff just couldn't be cleaned.
If I never see a fleshlight for the rest of my life, I'll be happy.
Yeah, your cup runneth over.
Yeah.
So did your fleshlight. So yeah, but to my chagrin, we still even have a couple of boxes that have moved twice now that just got stuck in the closet.
Yeah.
a lot of stuff you brought home from your mom's house when we were cleaning that out.
Right.
Never did put it anywhere.
No.
I would kill for our closet to be organized.
Yes, same.
Now, am I making the time to go do that?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not.
Well,
But
you know, part of the
I'd
thing
love.
is with our closet, and there's toys hanging everywhere.
We need a better organizational
We
system
need
for
a
our
bigger,
kink toys.
yeah, and I'm noodling something that
You're
I
the
think,
maker. You'll make something. It'll be perfect.
Yep, I'm noodling something, and yeah, I think we're gonna do something in that soon because it'd be nice to have all that a little bit more organized.
Ooh, I could see that being a video idea. If we get it organized, be like, this is how we organized our blah, blah, blah. So just putting it on record here, before we make any changes, we got to get footage, B-roll footage of what it looks like before. Because, it's not something we're proud of.
No.
Nope. It's a hot mess.
And you know, the thing is too, because of the way stuff is kind of haphazardly in the closet, it's always a chore to find what we want to.
I know, and then so you don't pull it out because then you got to put it back. And,
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'd be nice to have all that stuff organized to, you know, have it better organized to just be able to get to it when you want it. You know.
I mean, we have a stockade in the corner of our closet?
Yeah.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
Yeah. And I've even been thinking about a way that I could make a base for that to.
Oh my. Okay. I do love your new renewed creative era you're currently in. I don't know if my ass can handle it, but it'll be fine. So yeah. I think I feel like you've had some, in other ways, some weights lifted off of you.
I have. There's been a couple things that are yeah. Yeah.
And I love seeing it. I do.
Yeah.
But we should probably go now.
Yeah.
We did that thing that a lot of people do, where we said, well, we need to go. And then we kept talking. I've been doing that my whole damn life. But for real, we will, we need to go. We've got some other stuff to record.
Yeah.
And then we got to do some other stuff. And then there's stuff and then more stuff.
There's always stuff.
There's always stuff. It's that time of the year.
Yeah.
Stuff for everybody. Thanks for being here, especially to the bitter end. We will see y'all next week. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.